raise your voice. This is Tuesday Voices.
Hello. That's not on. Is it?
Classic. I love it.
Hello. Try this again. Welcome to Tuesday Voices. Thank you for joining us in this very unique Florida weather. I particularly am loving it. It's fantastic. I just want to go out and play in the rain and catch the flu, and no regret. Anyway, thank you for joining us, those of you who are with us, and those of you who are live via streaming. If you would like to sign up to read, I have the clipboard right here on the chair in the second row. Anyone who would like to read, if you would like credit for attendance, we have another sign-in sheet somewhere in the back that I lost. So feel free to sign in there if you would. If they're offering credit for you to join at FYE, if you are streaming, we get the attendance that way. Yes. Okay. All right. Well, my name is Jacqueline Bennett. I am your host for Tuesday Voices for the third time. Thank you for joining us. I don't have many signups on the list, so which is good because I got a whole book of poetry in my hand here, and the poems that I've chosen to read for tonight are relatively long. I'll only read one for now, and if we have time left over, I'll read the other one. Normally, I like to limit our time to say 7 or 8 minutes, but again, there's not many names on the list, so take 10 minutes. If you wish, but please no more than that, just in case. So I studied this book in a poetry workshop in college in UCF. I studied this book as well as W.S. Merwin's The Vixen. And while Merwin does have a very powerful and everlasting voice in poetry, it's this collection that really stuck with me by Sue Kim, and it's called Notes from the Divided Country. And Sue Kim is a first-generation child of Korean immigrants, and she has a very complicated relationship with America and with Korea. But really stands out to me about this collection is, of course, as a poet, her gift for language. And after all of these years since I first studied this book in college, I'm not going to say how many years ago, I'm not going to age myself, but it's really stuck with me for over a decade at least. This book has really stuck with me. So I'm going to read the first poem for this collection. Again, what really stands out to me about Kim's poetry is very raw, visceral language and very just innovative ways of sharing her voice through poetry. So the first poem I'm going to read is called Generation, and it's basically about her being born. The second poem is about the complications her mother suffered after she was born. If I have time, I'll read that one. That one brings me to tears every time. So I'm going to try to save that one just in case anyway, because it's very powerful. So, I mean, they both are. But anyway, this is Sue Kim, Suji Kwak Kim. The title of this book is Notes from the Divided Country. This first poem is titled Generation. Once I was nothing. Once we were one. In the unbored world, we heard the years hurtling past, whirring like gears in a giant factory. Time. We heard human breathing, thoughts coming and going like bamboo leaves hissing in wind, doubts swarming like reconnaissance planes over forests of sleep. We heard words murmured in love. We felt naked bodies climb each other, cleaving as if they could ride each other to a country that can't be named. We felt bed springs creak, felt the rough sailcloth of sheets dampen. We felt wet skin hold them together and apart. What borders did they cross? What more did they want? Bittersweet the Bittersweet the sweat we tasted, the swollen lips we touched, the chaff of separate loins, bittersweet the wine of one flesh they drank and drank. They called us over oceans of dream salt, their voices moving over the face of the waters like searchlights from a guard tower. We hid and refused to come out. Their cries followed like police dogs snarling from a leash. We ran through benzene rain, through clouds of jet fuel. We swam through hydrogen spume, scudded among stars numberless as sands. We didn't want to be born, we didn't want. Blindly their hands groped for us like dragnets trawling for corpses. Blindly their hands hauled me like grappling hooks from the waves. The foaming scalps of ghost children laughing. Seaweed hair dripping, the driftwood of other children who might have been. Out of chromosomes and dust, cells of hope, cells of history. Out of refugees running from mortar shells, immigrants driving to power plants in Jersey. Out of meadows sweet in oil, the chaff of unlived lives blowing endlessly. Out of wishes known and unknown, they reeled me in. I entered the labyrinth of my mother's body. I wandered through nerve forests branching in every direction, towering trees fired by feeling, crackling and smoldering. I rode through vein rivers. I splashed the lymph creeks between islands of glands. I leaped rib to rib, rung to rung on the spine. I swung from the ropes of entrails. I played on organs, leaped through a fog of sweet oxygen in the lungs. I clambered over tectonic plates of the skull, scrambling not to fall down chasms between. The mind mountains where I could see no bottom. I peered through sockets at the brain brewing in cliffs of bone, like gigantic volcanoes. With its magma of memories, magma of tomorrows, I could have played there forever, watching, wondering at the vast expanses inside, wondering at the great chambers in the heart. What machine made me move into the womb cave, made me a grave of flesh, now the engine of beginning driving forwards. Cells dividing, now neurons sizzling, dendrites buzzing, now arteries tunneling tissue like tubes hooked to an IV, now organs pumping, hammers of hunger and thirst pounding, now sinews cleaving, tendons lashing meat to bone. Meanwhile, my skeleton welding, scalp cementing like mortar. Meanwhile, my face soldering on, hardening like a mask of molten steel. Meanwhile, my blood churning like a furnace of wanting. Meanwhile, my heart ticking like a bomb. Was. The cold metal tongs clamped my forehead and temples. The forceps plucked me from my mother's body like a fruit torn from a tree. Then I heard a cry of pain. Mine? Not mine. Then a scalpel snip against the umbilical cord, like razors scraping a leather strop. Soon I felt sticky with blood and matted fur, surgical lights blinding. Soon I felt tears burning my skin. Why are you crying? Why am I? I didn't know who or what I was, only that I was. Each question answered by the echo of my voice alone. I. Okay, that's it for the first question. Up first, please welcome Jack to the stage. Absolutely.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jack Carlin. I'm a new student here at Seminole State College of Florida. I moved down from Massachusetts, and the song I'm going to be playing on piano tonight is one I played for the school that I used to go to in Massachusetts. It served as almost a goodbye letter, if you will. So the song is from a video game called Journey. In this game, your entire objective is to climb up a mountain. That's really it. It sounded like I was going to go on for longer, but I didn't. The goal is to go up a mountain. And what makes it so special is that it's more like a movie. You end up failing. You just don't make it up the mountain. That's the entire conflict. But then somehow, some way, you get help. After failing this journey, you get a second chance. You're pulled up to the top of this mountain by a friend, somebody who can help you. And at the time that I learned this, that was incredibly important in my life. And I just want you to know that apotheosis really means to be given a second chance. It means a lot of different things if you look in different dictionaries, but I want you to imagine it that way. So please enjoy this song that I've worked on. I'm also going to be facing backwards, so you're going to have to work with this. I'm sorry.
you very much.
That was fantastic. Thank you so much. Just as a reminder, if you want to read, the sign-in sheet is right there on the second row on the seat there. In the meantime, please welcome Maximilian to the stage.
I finished writing this like an hour ago. Bear with me if I fumble. Keep your voice down. I don't need nobody in the area to know that I'm nobody like them. Those who bastardized the dream, flipped it on the head to keep me trapped inside the seams, making it much harder just to breathe. Polluted with a cloud of negativity, acidic rain degrading the integrity. En masse, evil been released out of captivity. Automatic, seeking and destruction over hope. I gotta know, is empathy so radical? Is emptiness acceptable? Is concern only a one-way street for the people who find just like you, not me? Echo chambers bouncing old beliefs, granting no reprieve, no relief, no awareness. Eyes inside a sheath, shouting sheep at each other. What is wrong with me to want to be just who I am? And tell me, how does that hurt you so bad? Do you want me to bleach my skin and twist my heart, rewire my brain? Is that a start enough? Do you want me to hate like you and live with spite? You want me to seek revenge and pick a fight? You want me to disappear to leave your sight? You want me to live in fear to lose my life? You won't even look me in the eye to try to justify the fact that you despise the fact that I exist. Is it a risk to your ego if I have my own pride? If I don't wish to heal to this world full of snide and of hatred, it's always more hatred that creeps into where or inside. Is it not justified if I wish for a hand, just a chance to get out of this jam? And is it crazy to think that it's crazy to want to maintain who I am? Is it too much to ask for somebody to care when the only future I am able to see is the one where my family is taken from me and my friends are hated, hunted, bullied, and beat, and judged on a basis of not the content of my character, but a more sinister way, and the only people who can help turn their backs because making it right isn't safe is stressing me out of my mind, a struggle to find peace or to make it, building the strength necessary to take it, but I am not bulletproof, I am not steel. With balance disrupted, I'll hardly be real. It'll be harder to see the value if it fail, to determine if it's worth it to wait out the worst of what this world will bring, or if I must destroy myself before you do it for me.
Okay, Maximilian, thank you so very much. That was really fast. Up next, please welcome Emily. Emily, you're next.
Hey. I got a new notebook recently. So the one that looks like it's been run over by a semi truck, that one's officially retired. It's a poem called Vanessa Cardui. It's about a butterfly, and a little tangent before I begin, just something I thought was maybe a little amazing. I keep butterflies as a hobby, and one of them was a black swallowtail, formed a chrysalis back in September of last year. And I noticed it never hatched. It usually takes about 17 to 21 days for them to come out of the chrysalis. It's called eclosing. But it never did. But the chrysalis never died either. And you all remember, end of last year, it was pretty warm. We were getting 70s and 80s every other day. But about a week and a half ago, on one of the coldest days of the year so far, the butterfly hatched. It hadn't, I don't think that was overwintering since it was so warm, but I don't know. I thought that was just kind of impressive. Imagine being asleep for 3 months and then you wake up and then some jackass is like, okay, you got to go. Yeah, I'll go fly and make your own food. But that's not the species that the poem is about today. I just really like butterflies. Vanessa Cardui, the painted lady. The thing you need to understand about the painted lady is her rage. She, melted into a spineless stew, will thrash in protest to her very last breath when her space is invaded, or when the cremaster is bent in a way she hates. Though this has all the makings of a hissy fit, she's enraged righteously, and she's going to do something about it as soon as she's out of her own skin, believe me. The last thing You expect when you see a chrysalis half the size of your ring finger is for it to put up the kind of fight she does. The painted lady isn't particularly interested in your expectations. She's alive and she is well, and she's half exoskeleton, half passion. Another thing you need to understand about the painted lady is her beauty. On the upper side, she's part checkerboard, part tiger, part lace adornment on a wedding gown, and as breathtaking as any other butterfly perched on a flower. But on her underside is where she's at her peak beauty. Where her ventral wings and dorsal wings overlap, there is a smudge of pink that she keeps safely tucked away from an outsider's eyes. It's so marvelous that lesser beings will kill her over it. Whether from jealousy or fear of the unknown, the painted lady makes no distinction, and death will drain the pink blush between the folds of her scales, so now no one can see it. She is petty and she is stubborn, and more so than all that, she is the definition of beauty. Something else you need to understand about the painted lady is her genius. Eye spots stare you down and see your soul, even as she flits through the air, unassuming as any other bug. And she intimidates predators 10 times her size, like a living panopticon. The eye spots goad the now mocked mockingbirds into attacking her wings when they'd otherwise dive straight for her insides. She will still die if the mockingbird barges right in, barrels into her. Because as smart as the painted lady is, it's impossible to outsmart physics. Though the bird's victory will be characterized by a level of embarrassment for not figuring out her ruse sooner, for underestimating her just like any common foe of hers. Maybe the mockingbird thinks, of course I've won, the butterfly is dead while I've been fed. But the painted lady, she knows better. She is brilliant, and she is wise, and she is going to make her dying breath a boastful one. And there's one more thing you need to understand about the painted lady, and it's the most crucial thing to know. She's not lucky like us mammals, like the birds and the reptiles that try and trouble her. Her life is not long. Her life is 4 weeks, but 4 weeks is all she needs to ensure her daughters and granddaughters continue on. In every continent a bug could live. Through them, she survives. She rebuilds her body from broth into a shape she's never seen before and leaves stuff to spare because she knows herself can't keep every atom from her childhood. And when the painted lady is finished assembling herself, she bursts into consciousness from her own old skin, already primed for flight and having directions to places she's never been. Recycling. Through this, she survives. But there's just one thing in her way sometimes, and it's not her fault that she can't conquer every single obstacle the world throws at her. The thing is, sometimes her chrysalis is too thick, or her tiny legs are too frail, and she's trapped inside. The thing is, for all her passion and beauty and wisdom and spite and everything else amazing about her, she's still just a bug. The thing is that sometimes the painted lady makes a mistake she can't fix. The thing is, sometimes the painted lady usually hatches, alive and healthy, and with that same blush of pink. And sometimes she doesn't. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. Always happy to hear a poem about a butterfly, especially one so very powerful as that. Next up, please welcome Lee to the stage.
Hello, my name is Lee, and
first, I just wanted to say so far, everyone has been so amazing. Oh my gosh, like round of applause for y'all. Oh gosh. I don't think I can measure up to that, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try. So I have 2 songs today that I will be playing. Gotta knock them down anyway. One will be called An Aquarium's Motivations, and then the others, The Go Backs. I hope you enjoy. Oh, I'm a little short. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. So first, the Go Backs. I wanna go back to the way things were, where we did our poses, smiling softly and genuine. But where are we now? Bickering like there's no tomorrow. And I swear I told a lie to help protect your sad little lives. Everything's gone quiet. Nothing will ever be okay. Like the silence that puts me to shame. Do you not get it yet? I've been up to no good, and I hope you'll forgive me the same. Or then just treat me like the Go Backs, the ones that get put back on the shelves. The Go Backs. Do try not to tell the Go Backs, because I'm not fit to roll. Everything's gone quiet again. Nothing's ever changed. Like the silence, it puts me to shame. Do you not get it yet? I've still been up to no good, and I hope you'll forgive me the same. I've used you all like a universal tool that can fix anything. Do you want to know the truth, though? I'm a liar, unfair, and bold. To think I'd be the one to get everything done. I know it's wrong, but I played it over and over with you in this poet's song. This is my final say, and anything that can go away, just know I saved you. That's also my cue to fly so high and proclaim, who am I? Thank you. And then the second one, An Aquarium's Motivations. We, the fish of the aquarium, in order to form a more sustainable ecosystem, 1, treat all fish folk with dignity and fair circumstances. 2, for there to be quiet and peace within the coral reefs. 3, ensure the safety and security of all fish folk. 4,
to encourage the use of tactics and benefit the general population. 5, and my favorite one, the creation of foundations for past and future fish generations to see to it that these rights and freedoms be preserved and protected under not just rules / regulations, but under the power that each and every single fish has. Do lay this as the truth. But what if it was all a lie? To cover up mistakes that were made, swore under these vows to protect you no matter what, no matter what, no matter what. Without being asked what they're doing. Fish from sweetly in open waters without being judged, without being questioned, without being asked what they're doing. This is not what they stated. This is not what they wanted when they created this plan. I don't care what you may say. I'm just a little fish swimming in my open bay. And while you may try to erase me, well, I hope you know I'm here to stay. I will never be the one to go away. And I hope one day we can all be like fish. Because honestly, they're way smarter than us. They don't use cruel and unusual punishment to persecute those who are innocent, to rule out whom are different. And best of all, they follow the circle of life. Thank you. Thank you, Lee. I believe we've had 2 firsts tonight. Our first ukulele and our first performer in a gown. I think we should start a new trend, at least the gown part, right? Despite gender as well. We have one more person left for us tonight, and that is Josh. Josh, please welcome.
Hello. This is, I'm going to play one of my songs. There we go. I wrote this one about a week ago. I was just at a stoplight, and this guy thought it turned green because I'm pretty sure he was high in the clouds, and he just rear ends me, and my car is just fine, but I get out to check, and he speeds off, and that pissed me off. So I went home and just wrote about it, and wrote about what kind of person would do that. So give this a go. After I tuned it, that was terrible. There we go. Sorry. They don't care about you, they don't care where you've been. They hurt you much as they can, then leave you in the wind. Everyone's okay leaving those they've loved, but to be that's a tragedy that everyone's above. Pain swarms all around, it's the only thing I see. Hurt is the only thing left to comfort me. Seems every day someone new is hurting bad. There's nothing you can do but let it swell and make you mad. Buddy vultures feed on the left behind. They get much they can and leave you all behind. Buddy vultures don't care about tomorrow, leaving you to deal with all the blood and the sorrow. Buddy vultures prey on you, feed on the tough skin, feed on the innocent soul lives in you. Sometimes the best way of getting back is letting go. The desire of justice remains with the punches that I've thrown. Those claiming holiness seem to stand so tall, but every argument they've ever had formed a brawl. Emotions race and anger's all around, leaving their blood and their pride to drop to the ground. These bloody vultures don't care about tomorrow, leaving you to deal with all the blood and the sorrow. Them bloody vultures prey on you, they feed through your tough skin, they feed on the innocent soul. Them bloody vultures leaving you tomorrow, leaving you to deal with all the blood and the sorrow. Bloody vultures feel left behind, don't seem to shake no matter how hard you try. Bloody vultures.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you. Nicole moved the mic stand so I wouldn't trip over. That, and so I tripped over the stool instead. And of course, there's always going to be issues with the mic. If you weren't here when we first started, the issue today was I started speaking without turning it on. So anyway, we have plenty of time left. If anyone would like to come up, even if you haven't signed up for the list, or if you would like to come up again, please feel free to do so. I'm going to read the other poem from this book that I was going to read. This one's a little bit longer than the last one. Remember, the first one was about Sue Kim being born. This one is about everything that happened after with her mother and complications from the pregnancy. This is not a happy one. Let's just put it that way. It's called Tree of Knowledge, and it starts with a quote from Marilyn Robinson's Housekeeping. Facts explain nothing. On the contrary, it is fact that requires explanation. Go back. You'll never see it again. The loved face without shadows, the loved face rushing forward to the hospital, not knowing what will happen, knowing nothing. I'm 2, walking unsteadily like a drunk dwarf. Step by step, you're learning what flesh is heir to. You're learning what cleaves. No angels watching over us. No flaming sword guarding the gates of paradise. Only the tree branching in every direction, dividing leaf from leaf, life from life. No. You are you, not I. This is admitting, not the waiting room, not the ward where our mothers hooked to a machine for blood, each name a nail. Something driving the world into words, something engraving the body into a sentence that can't be ungrieved. I ripped her womb open being born. For weeks she bled so much she asked the doctor what it meant. Nothing, bleeding is normal after delivery, it'll stop. Why didn't he listen to her? Unchecked, the lacerations never healed properly. Unstitched, the uterine tissue, jagged and scarred and shrank. Shrank too small to hold my brother. Trapped inside, still feeding him, still breeding and breeding him with no room to grow. Driving his skull harder against womb walls, the larger he became, making his torso swell and cramp his limbs until they stunted. Feet kicking, fists pounding in terror. Mouth smoldered, eyes crushed. Because there was nowhere to go. Because there was no other world to enter. When they plucked him out with forceps, they say he cried beyond belief. How long had he been suffering before anyone knew? Was the worst over? So we wept, so wept we. So much did it cost us to enter this life. Wound in a mortal shroud of body, alone, one. Why couldn't the doctors account for it? Nothing in the ultrasounds, nothing in the amniocentesis. Noting intrauterine growth retardation, noting severe mental and physical disabilities of unknown origin. Have you ever hurt your heart wanting for years, asking why that happened, hoping beyond the last desire to feel hope? Father and mother ordering round after round of blood work, tissue biopsies, chromosomal tests, 6 years passing, and the child, I, was wandering the dusty halls of the clinic, crammed with immigrants, waiting migrant workers, refugees, or orphans like my father, wondering why they laughed or wept, strange tears that frightened her, forest of countless faces leaving. What would you have done? What was the right thing to do? The way he looked at her afterward, sleeping in a blue hospital gown, the way she slowly opened her eyes and saw what in his face can't be spoken. How she covered her face and cried, no. How the screams echoed in the room, re-echoing in my skull, never to die. How the doctor in a white coat told me to wait outside. Now the girl, I, was leaving, turning in the doorway. Now a nurse staring, then glancing away, pretending not to notice. Now other nurses bustling past, used to worse. Here carrying vials, here pills or syringes for sedation, here trays of scalpels and sharp metal instruments. Somewhere a surgeon scouring his hands in a steel sink. Somewhere an orderly pushing a machine glittering with wires. Somewhere my sister clamped inside an incubator, weighing 3 pounds, almost nothing. No one knowing if she'd live, no one knowing why she too should be one. Fool. No one knowing why the child she might have become would never be born. Why wasn't once enough? What makes us and makes us again being blocked the way back? What drives us out into the four corners of the known world? I can still hear the scrape of hinges as the door swung shut, hear the cries muffled by wood, dissolving coil by coil as I walked forward. Recoiling from shouts of other patients, footsteps, shrieks of children scurrying past, interns in blue-green scrubs hurrying to mothers in labor, to deliver infants born, never to be unborn. I can still smell the rubbing alcohol, the sick sweat in the corridor, taste ammonia, see dirt on the floor, see cinder block walls, see the brown water-stained ceiling. Feel the buzzing of fluorescent lights above. Feel the clattering of gurneys and IVs on wheels below, like rattling of chains. Stupid I, subject, taking it in, taking it all in, seed by seed, never to be unsown, cells dividing, limbs ripening, breeding what? What for? I can't stop remembering, recalling to the last splinter, the windowsill with its knots, the rough husk of peeled paint in my hand as I held on, looking outside at the parking lot, the toll booth, the exit to the freeway, bodies driving forward, forward, forward. What does it mean? One way only, one life only. Why was mother hospitalized so long? It was midsummer then, all the elms in gold green leaf. She was younger than I am now. She could never bear another child. She never says she blames me, but I am to blame. How did I know what I know? From husks of things unspoken, things unspeakable, from kneeling between wood pews, knuckles whitening, from coins crammed into tithing box prayers, stammered again and again, from words tasting of gnawed nails, spit, ash. Lord, how long wilt thou hide thy face? Why should we be patient when death lies at the end like the fruit of life? Why didst thou bring me forth from the womb? Seek, and ye shall seek. I wanted to die, but death is no remedy for having been born. I don't want to go on recounting the aftermath like an eye forced open, hideously seeing and seeing and seeing, sweet fruit of the brain shriveled in its rind of skull, face twisted, limbs wasted, one ear withered to a worm, one eye soldered shut. After what happened branched off from what might have happened, each leaf and its shadow cleaving, each is and is not, mocking the other like good and evil. But which is which? Out of the womb of nothing, out of the infinite, grave of other lives, other worlds, I see the shadow I could have been, the man and woman you might have become, and caught each inside a stillborn soul, infans, with its tongue torn out. I'll never know them. I want to pursue them. I want them to break free. Oh, ghost brother, ghost sister, silence like nothing but nothing. Dream vowel, implacable O, lie to me. Say you forgive me for being born. Okay, thank you. Before we wrap it up, first of all, of course, I would like to thank Jamie and Elijah and Adrian and Nicole, wherever she may be, for helping put all of this together and for making it look so good.
I was like, hopefully this will look good next.
Yeah, it looks, I feel quite, underdressed and very professional up here in the setup that we have now. We will be doing this 3 more times this semester. You'll see the posters up. It's the third Tuesday of every month. Off the top of my head, I can't say exactly when that will be in February. Adrienne can tell us.
I looked it up today. The fine snacks that you pre-Valentine's, post-Valentine's, the next one. The themed snacks. So the 18th of February is.
The 18th of February. Okay, so the 18th of February will be our next one. Everything is set in motion for the rest of our spring events. However, we are thinking of making a change from the fall and forward from then. And I want to take a quick poll to see how you guys, my general audience, feels about moving this up an hour early. Instead of starting at 7, starting at 6. Raise your hand if that sounds good. 6 o'clock instead of 7. Okay, we're very iffy on that. Okay, that's a very informal poll. I'm getting like half and half of starting earlier. I'm going to keep my feelers out and see about that. Obviously, Jamie and Elijah are going to have a say in that as well. But we're just throwing the idea around of beginning to start at 7 instead of it's starting at 6 and start instead of 7. So we got about 5 minutes left. So I'm just going to go ahead and wrap it up now. And thank you all again for being here. Thank you to all our amazing performers tonight. And hopefully I will see you all again. And on February 18th is our next meeting. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks for joining us. Can't wait for the next one. This is Tuesday Voices.